We're here with some of the committee of the Castleblayney Heritage 400 weekend, which is happening in Castleblayney on the 28th of September. I'm here with Martin Brady, who's going to give us an overview of what the weekend is about.
Well, the initiative started off because it's 400 years this year since Castleblayney were granted the charter to hold markets and fairs in the town. And because we have a number of photographs from the Lawrence collection taken during the day of the fair, we decided to try and recreate a photograph that was taken around 1900, and with the help of the local vintage groups around the town and the local agricultural group, we had assembled a lot of the old artefacts and charts and instruments that were used at that time. And when we approached the town council to see could we get the street closed from the evening before so we could set the photograph up for the morning of the 28th, they suggested that maybe we should expand it into a full-blown fair day, and that seems to be what's happening now. There are quite a number of events being arranged around it to commemorate it. Some of the old games that were played at the time, the road bowling competition, there are the High Nelly bicycles that were being used at the time mostly for transport. There's a workshop on those, and anyone who has a bicycle like that needs it to be repaired can bring it to town in the day and it will be looked after.
Is that like the penny farthing?
No, it's follow on from that, the old rally bicycles that were in vogue round the turn of the century, you know.
So we're putting out a call there to anyone who may have a bicycle of that nature to get in touch with the Heritage Committee here, and you'll get them on their Facebook page. Now we're going to speak to Jerome Savage, who is here on behalf of the Town Council. So Jerome, how open were the council to this idea when they were first approached about it?
Yeah, well, the council was very open and very supportive of the plans of the committee from the very start, and all the members, including Councillor Gary Carville, who is the present mayor of the council, had undertook to support and assist with the committee in as far as they possibly could. And with that in mind, Gary Carville, who's also a historian, will give a talk on the Friday night in the Glencairn Castle Suite on the aspects of the town at the turn of the century, and in particular aspects of the fair day, and he will also have a copy of the original covenant to present to individuals there on the day.
Now we're going to speak to Noel McGuigan, and Noel, I believe you have some memories that someone had recorded from the actual original fair days.
Yeah, I spoke to Maura O'Reilly, who's a native here of the town, and she actually wrote up a little thing here. I'll just read a little caption out of it in relation to what she remembered as a child, the old fair days, right? She said the day started early with the farmers driving their cattle before them and would arrive at daybreak. The cattle fair was held in the Commons, and the horse fair was in the upper end of Main Street, near where Wiley's shop now stands. There was a beautiful ornamental tank and a water pump so that the horses could drink there. The horses and carts with their farmers and the wives would be next to arrive. The women would get out of the carts on the edge of the town and dust themselves down. I remember one old lady who only then put on her black, well-polished boots. Traders and cattle dealers arrived from the trains, and soon the streets of the town were crowded. Carts of pigs and bohams lined the lower end of Main Street, from the market square around Boyd's Corner, and grunts and squeals of pigs and ear-piercing would be heard throughout the Main Street. It wasn't only the farmers who brought the bohams, but the people in the town would fatten their pigs in their back gardens and would bring them out for sale on the day of the fair day. This was a memory that Maura had of the fair day back when she was a child.
And can you put a date in that for us, just to give us a sense of time?
Well, I'd say that you're talking about somewhere in around 1960s, 1950s, 1960s. Yeah.
So those markets started in the 1800s and continued right up until that?
Right up until that. The last markets would have been in around 1960, when the local cattle mart, Nugent's Auctioneers and the cattle mart opened up in Mucknow Street. We also we need to reflect here on the fair day, the vintage club here and all the vintage people around Castleblayney who are coming together now to help out on the fair day. The Hope Castle estate is going to be took over on the day, and they're going to have all sorts of steam engines and thrashing machines and all sorts of old equipment that was used at that period. Do you know what I mean? And the local people then will be able to come down into the town and follow on down into the Hope Castle, and there'll be a great air there of the old period. We're hoping to have old music to bring back the theme and get people into the into the theme of things there on the day.
And which of the vintage clubs are taking part in that?
The local Castleblayney Vintage Club, and then we have Listoonan coming down as well, John Keenan, and we're hoping to have some artefacts on that from Sean Mohan at Clontibbard, who has a fantastic museum of old carts and old gypsy caravans and absolutely fantastic memorabilia from that period.
So just to get a picture of it, the town centre will be closed off to traffic. People will be in costume on the day.
Yes, we're hoping to, all the shopkeepers and business people, this is a very important aspect of it, that we need shopkeepers and the staff and that to get involved, to give it that an air of the period, and that we have a local lady, Anne McCarran, who has a lot of old costumes. She's made them available, and people can come up with their own costumes as well. We have the local school involved here, Angela Hannerty, who is actually going to get the transition years involved, and they're going to dress up, and we're hoping to have a donation bucket collection on the day to try and, for expenses and that, to try and actually pay for a lot of the stuff that's coming in. We're going to have hopefully tinsmiths coming in. We have 3 blacksmiths coming in, one to do he's going to shoe 3 horses on the day, and we have also a blacksmith who's going to do wrought iron work, and another blacksmith from out Lahagish direction who's going to make pokers, fire pokers and stuff like that. So there's an array of fantastic stuff going to be on, and it's going to be great for young kids who haven't seen this down through the ages, and they'll actually get an experience of what was happening in those times.
So now we're speaking to Martin Carville, and Martin, can you tell us, this year in Castleblayney, what sort of events have been leading up to the Castleblayney 400 which have happened already?
Well, this year in Castleblayney was very successful. We had a lot of events. We had Mucknow Mania, which runs every year, was very successful this year, and we had the agriculture show. We had the Fogs gathering this year. The football club run a great gathering, and we had 550 in the Glencairn, and it was very successful night. And the Bog Small Club was on last weekend along with the Carville gathering. The Carville clan gathered in the Glencairn as well, and the Castleblayney Hurling Club now are running one the same week as the fair day is on. So we're expecting, like with all the rest of them being so successful, we're hoping that it's going to be a successful fair day. And we're running as well the Katie Tassa Road Bowling Club are running an event on the morning of the fair, which is going to run out the Katie Road. Now there was bowling in the area back in the 1800s and 1900s around Castleblayney, but it's died away. So we're just going to show the people local what actually went on in them days that may never have seen road bowling. And Pete Carr and his team are coming up from Katie Tassa Road Bowling Club to show us. So we're hoping all in all it's going to be a very successful weekend. And the weekend following is, as I said, the Castleblayney Hurling Clubs has a gathering as well, and we're hoping that it's the 5th of October, and we're hoping there's going to be a big crowd for that as well. So 2 weekends coming up, and we hope they're going to be very successful.
This is Martin Markey for Border Region TV from the Castleblayney 400 Heritage Festival.